What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, and this was an 8-rounder in the cruiserweight division, and this fight was Sunday, August 29th, from the Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse in Cleveland, Ohio, and this fight was broadcasted on Showtime pay-per-view, and in this fight, Jake Paul was able to get a split decision victory over Tyron Woodley. I had the bout scored 76-76 even. I added a draw. The judges scored the bout 77-75 for Woodley, 77-75 for Paul, and 78-74 for Paul. I think that 78-74 card is fairly wide in favor of Jake Paul. That's just giving all of the swing rounds to Paul, and I think that's a little bit biased. But Tyron Woodley, I was actually edging him on the scorecards because there was one round that I was really debating giving it to Woodley, and I did give it to Paul in the end. But yeah, I had a draw, as I mentioned before. Comment down below your scorecards for this fight if you watched it. And Jake Paul did get exposed a bit here. I know he fought roughly a 40-year-old mixed martial artist known as a wrestler throughout the combat sports world. But Woodley did actually hurt Jake Paul, and that was in the 4th round. But just to break down the first 3, the first 2 were really just Jake Paul boxing on the outside, trying to just jab Woodley. Didn't really do much in those first 2 rounds. But in the 3rd round, it was a pretty close round that I did edge to with Tyron Woodley. I thought he landed the better shots, landed a nice, I believe, hook to the head. I believe it was a left hook, just grazing the chin and the nose. And then in that 4th round, as I was leading up to, Jake Paul got wobbled, and I think they should have called it a knockdown. Jake Paul got hit with a beautiful overhand right from Tyron Woodley, sort of on the temple and the ear area, and Paul did go flying into the ropes. And if you take a look at the shot that Woodley hit him with, I mean, you could clearly see Jake Paul would have went down if the ropes weren't holding him up. I mean, he forcefully went back as if he was shot by a cannonball. I mean, that was a great shot from Woodley. But then, I mean, Woodley took a lot of Jake Paul's shots. I don't think Jake Paul has a lot of power. I know that he knocked out all his other 3 opponents besides Woodley, but Woodley is a fighter who does get hurt a lot when he fights some of those top guys. I mean, he got hurt against Luque, Covington, Usman, all those top guys, and I mean, in the UFC, but Jake Paul couldn't do anything. I mean, he didn't hurt Woodley at all from what I saw. I mean, I believe it was in the 6th round where Woodley got hit with a overhand right, and that was the shot that knocked out Ben Askren. Woodley took it like it was nothing. He ate it up and came forward, and Woodley was just coming forward, and it was sort of weird because when you saw Woodley's training videos, he was in a boxer stance. Here he was in a mixed martial artist stance. And a funny thing, at the end of, I believe, the 6th round as well, he did try and throw a Superman punch, but that was obviously a joke. But more into the fight, I mean, I gave rounds 7 and 8 to Tyron Woodley. They were very, very clear rounds. Rounds 6 was a Jake Paul round. 5, I was really debating on who I would give it to. So I could have had it 77-75 for Woodley. I think 77-75 Paul is definitely believable. I shouldn't say believable. Is definitely a decent score. I mean, I could have had that score if I gave some of the closer rounds to Paul. But I think it's either like 77-75 either way. Either way, sorry about that. Yeah, 77-75 either way. If not 76-76, a draw. But yeah, Jake Paul did get hurt. He went through some adversity here. And what is next for him? Getting this split decision victory. Very, very competitive and close fight. Another mixed martial artist he just beat here. I think he's going to face Tommy Fury, and if I'm going to be honest, I think Tommy Fury destroys him. I know Tommy Fury has had limited experience in the boxing world, only 10 amateur fights, but I mean, he's a boxer. He's been training boxing for a while. I mean, I know Jake Paul has, but he hasn't fought anyone that would give him a test up until Woodley, and Woodley's a mixed martial artist who had a mixed martial artist stance. So I think if he fights any boxer, he'll get destroyed. And I think it's a couple of things. I think Jake Paul could either face Tommy Fury or an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather, but it seems like since Tommy Fury was on this card, they'd probably do that fight. And another thing to mention about this fight is that the loser apparently is going to get a tattoo of like I love Jake Paul, or obviously the loser here was Tyron Woodley, so he's going to have to get that tattoo, and that's a little added bonus thing to this fight card, but that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Jake Paul's either going to face Tommy Fury or Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition. I don't think he's going to face any other YouTubers. He's miles ahead of those guys. But here he was very tired and went through a good experience, and he got the victory, got the job done, although I thought it should have been a draw. But what is next for Tyron Woodley? In the boxing world, he's done. I don't think he's going to fight. He put in a good performance. I thought he could have won. You can make the case for either guy winning or a draw, but I think even in mixed martial arts, in the UFC, I think he's done. So yeah, I think he's just going to retire all in all in combat sports. He's had a great career nonetheless. So overall, Jake Paul defeats Tyron Woodley by a split decision to get his fourth victory and the best of his career so far. And that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.